about. Counting is basically different ways of figuring probability by way of multiplication. That's what counting is. All right? Now we're going to be using what's called factorial. Some of you may know what factorial is. Some of you may not. Some of you may have invented it. I don't know. So, what is factorial? Factorial is, and I'm going to write it on the board here in just a minute, because I'm going to write a Hubertism definition. Of course, if y'all want the regular definition, we'll see where it is in the book. But we're going to be using the multiplicative rule of counting. Multiplicative rule of counting. And there's a couple of different problems that you can do with the multiplicative rule. We're going to be using factorial, which is exclamation point. We're going to be using combinations. And we're going to be using permutations. Those are the four things that we're going to be using. What is factorial? Factorial is multiplying numbers in their natural sequence to 1. Now, why didn't I go to 0? Because if you multiply by 0, it'll cancel out the whole thing. So there's no way you can. 5 factorial be 0. What would 100 factorial be? 0. So I got a hat like that. Look for Pedro. Oh. I got a hat like that. No, I only pull for the Atlanta Falcons, and they still choke. So Atlanta Braves, they choke too. They choke more than Falcons. They're doing pretty good. Oh, they're doing pretty good this year. Wait till the playoffs. Except for last night. Yeah, bet money on them. Wait till the playoffs. Yeah.
September they have the worst.
They're just like the Falcons. They choke. I don't even know if Atlanta has a basketball team, but anyway. Do they choke?
They're not good.
They're not any good. Oh well. Well, Greenville wants to be like Atlanta, so Greenville don't have any teams. They try, but they end up having them move somewhere else that can support them. They got the baseball team gone yet, or is it still there? They still give you free tickets to go?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think it's so funny when a town tries to be something it's not. Anyway, multiplicative rule, factorial, combination, and permutation. Multiplicative, multiplying, so 5 factorial. 5 factorial would be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 6 factorial would be 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You can find this and you'll look, this is right here. So if you wanted 6 factorial, you'll just take 6 multiplied by 5 factorial. See what I'm saying? So because that's the same thing. You'll also see them cancel out if you put them over each other, and we're going to see that in some of the formulas, they'll cancel out. So 7 factorial would be 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. I think your calculator will go up to like 72 factorial. No, I think it will go up to 69 factorial. Well, I want to go any further because 69 factorial is a BA number, and that's about as high as you can get. Okay? So I think it's either 69 or 70, one of those two. Where do you go? You get your calculator? Well, I'll go ahead and pull up the calculator and show you these keys because I'm going to ask that you use the calculator on these problems. I'm not going to make you do it because it's just like we've learned in regression. That formula is just too cumbersome and tedious. Well, so is the combination and permutation formula. So let's pull up our handy dandy calculator. And I want you to write this down so you'll have it. I can't see the calculator. I can't see the blue writing at all. This when the light's on. And I think it's under math, if I remember correctly. math, and go under probability, and there they are. Number 2, number 3, and number 4. Math, probability, and then number 2, number 3, and number 4. Hit math, the button that says math. Should be math. Can't see upside down. And then move over to probability. And then number 2, number 3, and number 4 are what we're going to be using. Now, let's say I want to do 5 factorial. I'll hit clear. Well, where is... Okay, 5, math, probability, and go down to factorial. And enter. So 6 factorial would be 720, because you take 6 and multiply by 120. But we'll do 6. Now, how do you do that without going through that? Hit second and look for entry. I think it's second enter. And then you can backspace and hit 6. 7, hit second, enter, and backspace, put 7. And you can do that up to 69. So second, enter, and I'm going to hit a 6, and then I'm going to hit second, delete, which is insert, and 9. And that should be a BA number. Yep.
Are you recording the class?
Yes. 1.7 to the 98th power, so you got 96 zeros in there. So that's 1.7 or 17 and 96 zeros. 97 zeros. Or 97 spaces. Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'd be 89 zeros. 1.7 blah, 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 and after the 4, you got 89 zeros. So everybody knows how to use factorial on the calculator now?
No.
Okay, let's do it again. Do 12 factorial. Type in 1, 2. Second, or math, sorry. And arrow over to probability. And go down to number 4, because there's, and hit enter, and then hit enter again. And that's how you do factorial. 15 factorial. 15, math, probability, 4, enter, and enter. Okay? Now we'll talk about how to use that in just a second. Let me go back to the handy dandy. Now the first one we're going to use is the multiplicative rule, not of probability, but counting. The multiplicative rule of counting. And here is a good example. And I'm just going to do this. And I want to impress y'all, so I'm going to do this. And where is this? No, I don't want to do that. Well, there it is. I haven't had training, so. All right, so here is the example. And write this in your notebook, because this is a good generic problem for a standardized test, as well as, I had a student come to me with a GRE book yesterday, and that question was there. Of course, it wasn't the same question. It was about dinners, okay? And it's very, very normal to see one of these on a standardized test, much less a homework problem. It's on page 272. A fixed price dinner at blah, blah, blah provides the following choices. Appetizer, soup or salad, that's 2 plates. Entree, baked chicken, broiled beef patty,
Baby beef liver.
or roast beef. Okay? That's nasty.
Which one?
Baby beef liver. I have tried, and I'm not redneck disorder. I don't have redneck disorder, but I have tried just about everything there is to try when it comes to eating. And I don't like, and I still do not like meatloaf, and I don't like any kind of liver except fried chicken livers. I like them. But no matter what you do, the beef liver is nasty. I've tried every different way, and I just can't eat it. I don't know what it is. Maybe in the next 7-year change in my taste, maybe I'll like it. I don't know, but I've been through at least 7 taste changes, and I haven't formed a taste for it. And meat, and I've tried meatloaf at least 5 or 6 different ways. If you're going to eat meatloaf, you might as well just eat hamburger steak. I don't understand why you even eat the beef meat.
You gotta put it with ketchup.
What?
It's gotta be with ketchup.
Well, if you have to put ketchup on something, it's really not cooked right. I just don't like ketchup. I just don't like meatloaf. I just don't like it. I'd rather have a hamburger steak. Just give me a hamburger steak if you're going to fix that. Okay? Settle down, Oconee. All right, and dessert is 2 plates. So what do? You just multiply them together. 2 plates times 4 plates times 2 plates. Multiply that together, and that's how many different combinations you got. So multiply 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 is what? 16. So write that down. Make sure you know how to do that one, because that is maybe one question on our test in here. But if you take a GRE, or if you take a, what do y'all take? Clinical test to get in clinicals?
We take the ATI, TEAS.
What's that called? TEAS? TEAS test? Any kind of standardized test, a dadgum employment test at Michelin or Fleur Daniel or whatever, you probably will see a question like that. And you're going to see the lottery question. You're going to see the roulette wheel question. You'll see the, of course, deck of cards question. You know, pull out a. You'll see those type questions also, but that's one you'll see. Okay, that is called the multiplicative rule of counting. You just multiply the plates times plates times plates, or the entrees, whatever you want to call it. Y'all like that black screen there? How you like that? I found that without training. Okay, next question. I still haven't found poster boards yet, so I'm still looking.
Poster board for what?
Oh, Tri-County Tech, we've had the last 3 workshops, faculty staff work days on making poster boards for your class.
Why don't you just look out?
That's innovative teaching.
I know poster board.
And you put them around the wall, make at least 4 or 5.
So like a kindergarten class?
And then people go around and write thoughts down about the poster boards.
Yeah, I did that in like,
2nd grade.
yeah.
Do they ever like interview students? Find out what we need?
Yeah, it's called evaluations. It's hilarious. I mean,
Are we gonna
and they expect me to sit through these. I go up there, I show my face, and then I leave. Because I'm not sitting up there, I'm not wasting my time.
I think they already know about it.
Yeah, they do think so. Multiplicative rule, there it is. So it's on page, what page is that, 273? A test of consists of sequencing choices, blah, 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 blah. You multiply them all together. Okay? Now here is a question where you actually use the exponent. The International Air blah, 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 blah assigns 3 letter codes to represent airport locations. For example, the code for Fort Lauderdale International Airport is FLL. How many different airport codes are possible? Remember me telling you that one of the problems with probability, 2 of the problems with probability is not the math, but it's reading the question and having to think. Yeah, okay? Having to think. Now, if I give you 3 spots to put letters, I shouldn't have to tell you how many letters you have to choose from. Okay? So, in this question, students will look at this question on a test and they'll sit there and go, I don't know what to do. Well, always remember this. How many letters, how many spaces, I call them spaces. How many spaces are in the code? 3. That's your exponent. So I want you to highlight that just write down this. You don't have to write down those big long words. Just write down verbatim. And don't write it down verbatim. And then make sure you write 3-letter code. Whenever you see those words, 3-letter code, I want you to go to the right. I want you to put 3 spaces, therefore, the 3 dots in a triangle. I want you to write exponent, because that is usually going to be your exponent. And then you say to yourself, well, it doesn't say that we don't repeat, so my base is going to be 26. Now, the reason I show this problem, and a lot of people say, well, Hubert, that's one of the easiest problems. Yeah, it is. But some people will sit there and look at it because they won't remember that there's 26 letters in the alphabet. How many is 0 to 9? That's 10. That's 10 numbers. So if I ask you, I got an alarm code. This is the same thing as alarm code. I've got an alarm code with 4 numbers. 4 numbers, that would be 10 to the 4th power. If I had 2 numbers and 2 letters, then that would be what? 10 to the what? 2nd power times what? 26 to the 2nd power. So you have to learn how to do that. That is another test question / standardized test question. And they usually do an alarm code. And in this case, they changed it. Okay? And now we're fixing to get to 14, 13, 12. You start to see now the next is going to be factorial. Okay? So let's move over to the next page. And there is your factorial. And it's 2 very important rules. 0 factorial is always 1, and 1 factorial is always 1. And of course, whatever you have in factorial, you have to actually do it in the calculator, or you have to do it by hand. And they're going to spend a whole page telling you about that. There's an example. 7 factorial is 5,040. And I've already gone over that with you, so you should be able to do that. And yes, they will give you a question. What is 7 factorial on a test? Okay? And there is our first definition that's very important. It's going to make up 2 or 3 problems on your test. Permutation. It's on page 274. Very important. So if you have a pen, it would get a star. If you have a highlighter, it would get a highlight. Permutation is a arrangement by order. Order is the key word. Order. So make sure you have permutation equals order. And the formula is N subscript N big P subscript R. So you're going to be given numbers. What is N always? Your smallest number or your biggest number? I've told you this since the first week of class. But y'all just ignore me. Thank you. Largest number. Settle down, Oconee. Oconee, did y'all have a good weekend?
Yes.
Good. Any good movies?
That are currently out now?
No, there are none.
I was about to say there are none out right now.
I actually went on Fire Stick, and there's like 7 movies that have downloaded in the last week, and I watched absolutely none of them because they're like sucky movies. I'm not talking about math right now. Which substitute version of what?
He said it's arrangement by order.
Just permutation is arrangement by order, and NPR is the formula. That's what I said. Okay? You'll see in just a minute what I mean by arrangement by order. A permutation usually is going to have to do with boards, B-O-A-R-D-S, boards, and horses. You'll see a question about a horse, horse racing, trifecta. What's a trifecta?
You got to win
First, second, and what? Third. First, second, and third. What's the combination of, or permutation of horses that will come in first, second, and third out of 8 horses? Which is bigger, 8 or 3? So 8 is in. So if 8 is in, what is R? 3. So you would do 8 permutation 3. And we'll get to that in just a minute. It's real simple. You do it in your calculator. I give you 3 or 4 problems. You do them in 35 seconds. Not hard at all. This is actually the easiest chapter that you will have as far as tests. Okay? So if you blow this one, you know what that means. You suck. Huh? Yeah, you need to quit. Good job. Glad you put that in there. All right, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Boards. What will the boards ask? Board. You are sitting on a board and you are having elections and you need to elect officers of chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer. Okay? There are 52 people that you can choose from. So which one's bigger, 52 or 4? 52 is going to be in. It's going to be a permutation because officers mean order. So R would be 4 because you got 4 slots. Okay, so R is slots. Okay, we'll get to that in just a minute. Probably on the next page, you'll give us an example. There's the formula. Now, the only reason I want you to write that formula down is for your knowledge and in case you're asked on a test. I will not ask you. Okay, then why am I giving it to you? For your information. So on page 275, there it is. So write that formula down and just know it on an index card. Make sure you know it if you see it, because it could be on a standardized test. It will not be on my test, but it will be on a standardized test. N factorial over n minus r factorial. So in the case of the board, 52 factorial over 52 minus 4 factorial. So what's 52 minus 4? 49. So that would be 52 over 49 factorial. Now let me show you a trick I learned in the war. You take 52 factorial, and what is 52 factorial? N is equal to 52, R is equal to 4. 52 members, 4 officers. Okay? So that would be 52 factorial, which is 52 times 51 times 50 times 49 times 48. Everybody get it? Over, what is 52 minus 4? 48. What? 40 what? 48. So that'd be 48. ... So what happens to the 48 factorials? And you're left with just what? That number right there. So remember me telling you that you will see factorials cancel out? That's how you will see it cancel out. And sometimes on a standardized test you may be asked to do something like that. But basically, what's 48 over 48? What's 47 over 47? So all of these cancel out. And that's the whole purpose. Does it on the combination and the permutation formula. Okay? So I thought you might want to see that. Okay? And they're going to give you a problem here, probably on this next little yellow. I'm not going to tell you to write all that down, but you can write 7P5 and 5P5. And let's put it in the calculator because I'm not going to ask you to do it on the formula because there's no use. And I'll show you how to do it on the Excel spreadsheet also. Because I want y'all to succeed no matter what y'all think. I just build y'all up to fail. So 7, math, probability, NPR, and 5, National Public Radio. Dang old Squidward's favorite channel. 25-20. Now, if, whips and chains is your thing, go home and plug all that in and do it by hand. Knock yourself out. But basically what you're going to end up seeing is 2 factorial is going to cancel with 2 factorial. Hey, they showed it right here. See, 2 factorial cancels. And you're left with just 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. Now, where does it get really cumbersome? Well, that's only 7 factorial. What if you have 28 factorial or 52 factorial? You need your calculator. Okay? So that's how you do that. Okay, time for a rule, time for an identity. When you have 5, permutation of 5, your answer is always going to be that number factorial. Okay, so 5, if the 5's matched, then you're going to get 5 factorial. If it was 2, 2p2, it would be 2 factorial. If it was 30p30, it would be 30 factorial. So that's a rule there. Also, if you have 5p1, it's going to be 5. If you have 30p1, it's going to be 30. If you have 100p1, it's going to be 100. Think about it. If you have 5 positions to fill, okay, 5 offices, and you only got 1 person to choose from, what's the only combination you can have? 1 or 5. I'm sorry. You still have those 5. You still have those 5 positions, but you put that 1 person in each position. That's it. So you'll see those later when we actually do some problems, because when we do the lottery, there's the Powerball. The Powerball is only 1 ball. So you'll see that in just a minute. And that's your calculator. You can do those 2 on a calculator. Okay? I would like, but we're not going to do a permutation with the, look at there, dang old trifecta. Y'all learned a word today, didn't you? Trifecta. Write this one down if you don't have a, and of course y'all should have a book, because I told y'all not to buy one or bring one, didn't I? That's what students tell me. I tell them not to buy one. Anyway, yeah, because you're female, and females usually don't follow directions very well. In how many ways can horses in a 10-horse race finish first, second, third? First, second, and third is trifecta. So you know right then that N is equal, not N, R is equal to what? 3. And what's N?
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On this trifecta, it says there's 720 combinations.
Yes.
So, I don't know, there's probably somebody out there that's on this trifecta.
Oh, yeah.
Knows this,
Oh, yeah.
knows 720 ways.
Yeah. You could put $1. You could take $720, and you can put $1 on every one of those trifecta, and that's the way you bet. Some people bet like that. If one of them win, you're going to win a lot of money. Okay? But anyway, there it is. So 10p, write this question down, because that is a test question, and it's also a standardized test question. They may not ask for horses, they may say people. People in a running race, 100-meter dash, or whatever. But if they ask for order, first, second, and third, R is going to be equal to 3.
Repetition of objects.
Yes. It's always going to be your smaller number. Because you can't fit a round peg in a square hole. And you can't fit the repetitions into the people, or what makes up the set. You can't do that. It's got to be the other way around. You got to put the people into the positions. So it's always your smaller number. And here is the alternative to a permutation. A combination is a combination of no order. So the only distinction between a combination and a permutation is one word. What is it? I said it. It started with an O. Order. Permutation means order. Combination, put order with a big X through it. Doesn't matter. Order does not matter. This is your committees. You remember me giving you a board a while ago with offices? Okay, officers. What if I said you got 52 people and you want to make a committee. Okay? I was born and raised still Southern Baptist. You have a committee to have a committee to have a committee. The Southern Baptists have a committee for the bathroom, detail, or bathroom, clean up the bathroom. You got a committee. You got a committee for the water fountain. Okay? Committees do not have, now, some Southern Baptist churches, of course, other churches do things, they have officers of a committee. But technically, committees don't have officers. Committees are just 5 people, or 6 people, or 8 people, or whatever, to get together and they hash out something. Okay? You might have a presenter of a committee, but Robert's rules, a board has officers, a committee does not have officers. So, the only thing you would do is just figure out how many different combinations of people you would have on a committee. So you would use combination. NCR. The formula is right there. Now, what's the big difference between this formula and the permutation formula? It's multiplied by R factorial. So there is still a cancelization, but there's still another number down there. See what I'm saying? That R factorial represents another number. So here's a good question right here. Roger, Ken, Tom, and Jay are going to play golf. They will randomly select teams of 2 players each. So what's the biggest number, 4 or 2? 4 is going to be N, and R is going to be 2. There's no order. So now, will the question say that? The question, if it doesn't say order or officers or a distinct order or some kind of key word, then it's assumed to be a combination. Okay? And that would be 4, combination 2. So how many different team compositions can they make up? 6. Teams of 2. Okay? And there they are. Roger, Ken, Roger, Tom, Roger, Jay. Ken, Tom, Ken, Jay, Tom, Jay. So, Connie, y'all settle down. That sounds like Coney. Can't be us.
To them in the office?
Yeah, they're having a party over there.
Sounds like it.
See if they're over there drinking. And there's your examples. 4, combination of 1 is going to be 4. See? There's your... I told you that a while ago. Permutation and combination, if you got a 1 right here, it's going to be whatever that number is right there. 6, 4 gives you 15. 6, 2 gives you 15. And yes, there are some that will give you the same numbers. Okay? There are some like that. So now let's do it on the calculator. Let's do 14 combination. No, let's do 52. Let's do our original 52 people. And I want a committee of 5. So math, probability, number 3, combination of 5. And what did y'all get? Another BA number, 2,598,960. Now let's do a permutation. 52, we did that a while ago, but I'm going to do it again so you can look at the 2. Math, probability, permutation of 5. Permutation is bigger. Why? Because there's a detail in there. More details, the more you're going to have, the more chances. Okay? And you're going to do it by order. Order is always going to be bigger. Always. Now let's do it on the handy-dandy spreadsheet. It's real simple. Take your equal sign and you do combin. C-O-M-B-I-N. Hit enter. Well, you're not supposed to hit enter. Well, I'm sorry. Parentheses, sorry. And we'll do 52, comma, what did I do, 5? There's your number. Check it on your calculator. I'll make it bigger so y'all can see it. All right, there's that one. Now let's do permutation. So that would be equals permute, P-E-R-M-U-T, parentheses, 52, and we said 4 officers. No, 4 officers. 5 members, 4 officers, remember? And there's that number. I might have done different on the, I might have done, sorry. Let me see what I did.
Was that combination?
Yeah, I did 5. So let me do it 5 so it'll go back to this. 52, permutation 5. So let me go back, change that. Y'all are right. There we go. Permute, there it is. Permute is permutation. You got to put the equal sign, don't forget. Equals means you're fixing to do a mathematical operation in this cell. So you got to put equals before you start. And combination is combin. C-O-M-B-I-N. Capiche? Now let's go to a real type question that you would see on my test. South Carolina Education Lottery. And I want you to write, okay, South Carolina, I'm sorry, it's a state-run website, it takes a while. They probably hadn't got trained in that. How to play. But they changed it. Hold on a minute, that ain't the way I want it. Oh, they've changed it. They've changed the website. Shoot. Hold on, let me find it. They've changed it now. Okay, do y'all see how to play it? I didn't see. They usually have a there it is. No. There it is. Okay, they've hit it. They've changed their website. Okay, I want you to write down this part right here, that first paragraph. You don't have to write down use one panel. You don't have to write that down. But write down how to play that. I'm going to blow it up. There you go. Write down that right there, number 1. The first 2 sentences. Select 5 numbers from 1 to 69 in the left area and select 1 Powerball number from 1 to 26 in the right play of the slip. Oh, I like that feature where you can type in your, I'm going to type in my ticket, see if I won. I kind of know what the answer to that is, but you can't win if you don't what?
Play.
If you don't play, you at least got to play 1 ticket. And that's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. So, I guess I better, I'm not going to be able, I don't think I'll be able to uncopy it. I can try it. Let me go to the whiteboard. I'm going to put it on the whiteboard, so don't have a cow. Hold on. Can't see, I can't see. Can I paste, please? And it didn't do all of it, or did it? No. Okay. There it is. Hope y'all can see that. Now, there's a part of this question that all of you need to write down because it probably will affect your homework as well as your test. You have to make sure you read the question, because if you don't read the question correctly, you could get it wrong. Why? Anybody know? Because of the assumption of you buying a ticket or not. I know that's kind of, I don't know what you call it, tricky, but there are some cases in the homework or the test where they don't want you to buy a ticket, and you just have to find the denominator of the fraction, not the whole fraction. Okay? So, if they want you to win the lottery, which most of them do, if you see the word, what is your probability of winning? In order to win, you have to buy what? A ticket. So, in most of the lottery questions, this is what you need to remember. Always assume that you're at least buying one ticket, and then therefore the number 1 goes on top, and then your probability goes on the bottom. And that's what students neglect to read in the question. I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about on the homework or a test question. You've got to read it, because sometimes they just want the denominator. But in this case, we're going to say that you buy a ticket. Okay? So 1 over, and then we've got 69, combination, 5. How many? 5. Times 26, combination, 1. And of course that always becomes 26. Whatever this number is, if that's a 1, it's going to be 26. So you take your handy dandy calculator and you do that in your calculator. So go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, you're doing that, I'm going to set up something in the spreadsheet.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So why would that be a combination and not a permutation? Because wouldn't the lottery numbers have to be in a certain order?
They do not have to be in order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't have to be in order. And
Okay,
it says
I never
that, I
played
think,
it. I
in the
was just
directions on down somewhere. But if you're hardly going to win the lottery to begin with, okay? What if you added order to it? Nobody would ever win it. Because you'd have to have each one of those in the right order. Nobody would win it. And we'll do that in just a second. I'm glad you asked that, but we're going to do it with a permutation, and you'll see what happens. Okay?
Okay.
Now I'm going to go over to my handy dandy Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to have to minimize it so I can see the question, so I can see the numbers. Make this bigger. That ain't going to work. Let me move that over here. Y'all give me a second, please. And put that here, and then I can bring this in, and I can put that over. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the combinations. I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to say equals combination, combin, sorry, and click on that, in parentheses, and I'm going to do 69, comma, 5. And then I'm going to do equals combin. Of course, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be 26. 26, comma, 1. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to make this big now. No, I don't want to do that. Cancel. Oh, today is just not my day. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to buy one ticket. I'm going to buy 5 tickets. I'm gonna buy 10 tickets. I'm gonna buy 100 tickets. I'm gonna buy 500 tickets. Don't laugh. I've seen people buy a whole daggum book and then come in and buy like 5 or 6 of those papers, and they just give them like a whole handful to the counter, and they just run them through. So I've seen it. 1,000 tickets, 10,000 tickets. What's next? 50,000? 50,000 tickets. 100,000. 200,000. 500,000. 1 million.
That's 5 million.
Shoot. 1, 2, 3.
No, I think you got 5 million instead of
Okay.
500,000.
And that's 500. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Thank you. And let's do 2 million. That's going to be equal to this guy divided by, parentheses, this guy times this guy. And let's open this up. There's a reason I'm doing this. I'm not doing it just for me. Okay? I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to hit number, and I'm going to take it to 30. And I'm going to bring it down. Oh shoot, I forgot to lock it. Sorry, hold on a second. Lock and lock. Now copy it. Or you could just hit percent. Where's the percent symbol? I always lose it. There it is. So, my question to you, who is smarter? The guy that buys 1 ticket or the guy that buys 1 million tickets? One. You got the same amount of probability. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, yes, if you really think in terms of the 10 millionth, 100th millionth power or the 100 millionth decimal point, you're weird, okay? But most people think in terms of hundreds, which, now, if you decide to buy 2 million, you get 1 point in the good of, winning.
If you're buying $4 million worth of lottery tickets.
If you're buying $2 million worth of lottery tickets, why are you playing the lottery?
Yeah, each ticket's worth $2.
Yeah, why are you bringing the lottery? Why are you playing the lottery? Okay? The reason I show this is because in South Carolina, I can't remember how old I was. I was in my early 20s maybe, or late 20s. I can't remember, somewhere in there, when the lottery came to South Carolina. And oh my God, you would think that we were encouraging child cruelty or something. All these people came down to South Carolina saying, South Carolina don't need the lottery. South Carolina don't need the lottery. Well, we just have got rid of video poker. And video poker is the crack cocaine of gambling, okay? So you'd be going into a convenience store in South Carolina, and there'd be kids in the 100-degree weather in the car with mom and daddy in the quick way putting $100 bills into the, okay? You would actually see that. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about, don't you?
They built some of those.
Yeah.
Built some of those right before you get
Oh yeah, on the right. And then right after they bought them, they cut it out, and those places turned into nothing.
They turned it into, it's like a drive up the
Yeah, right there across from the kennels.
Yeah.
They had 2 or 3 there, and then they had 2 right across the dam. They had 3 right there, right across the dam.
Yeah.
And 1 back in the woods. Anyway, the whole point is they built all these, and they were basically poker casinos. And you couldn't have but 10. So they would build a room and they would build a door, and then they could put another 10. And you'd go into one of these buildings and there'd be like 30 poker machines. Anyway, to make a long story short, all these people came down to South Carolina because we were fixing to get the lottery. And of course, people in Mississippi and South Carolina, what are we to the rest of the nation? We're a bunch of dumb, poor, racist Southerners. And what would we do with our paycheck if the lottery came to South Carolina? We would go out and blow it. Of course, that was with video poker. But I tell that because I've been telling this for a long time. And one of my teachers at Clemson wrote a book on gambling. His name is Joel Brawley, Brawley. And it was, the whole book was on this concept. You don't go into a gambling situation thinking that the more money you put down, the more you're going to win. It's the other way around. That's why it's called luck be a lady, luck. It's luck. It's basically what it is. And y'all ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Okay, that was not, he didn't go out and buy 200 candy bars. He bought how many? You didn't watch it. 2. Grandpa Joe bought one. He bought one. And then he bought one after the tickets were gone, and it was in there. You're a disappointment. You don't know Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Which one was better, Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
You think it was better? I like Johnny Depp more though. I like
Johnny
it.
Depp, but he was weird.
You know who he mirrored in that movie? To prepare for that movie, you'll never guess. Michael Jackson. He did. He said that in an article. He actually mirrored. He watched Michael Jackson in interviews and stuff like that to get. I'm not making that up. It was the actual article.
No, now that you mention it, yeah.
The way he does this and has flashbacks and stuff like that. Anyway, Coney, you there? Are y'all awake?
Yes.
Did y'all don't care about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka? Which one's your best?
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka?
Yes.
Now I got one question about the grandpas and the grandmas.
Why are they in the bed?
Why are they in bed? If he can get up and go to Willy Wonka, why ain't he working?
Because he's really sick.
Yeah, he wasn't sick when he got that golden ticket. Gold digger. All right. So let's do not permutation, but let's do what? I meant not combination, but permutation. So let's put permute right here. Permute. And then permute right here. And that means that the ticket, when you do the order, you have to what? Have it in the numbers that you pick have to be in order of the ping pong balls that come out of the little vacuum thing. They have to be in that order. Now let's change this to 30 digits and see what they look like. Y'all saw what they looked like before, right? They were different and they just had a couple of zeros here. Now let's change it to 30. What happened? These zeros down here, it was 0.1 or 0.01, wasn't it? Now all the first 5 or 10 are zeros. There would be no way in Hades you would win unless you bought like 10 million tickets. And you put 10 million right here. Let's see what happened to 10 million. If you bought 10 million, which would be $20 million, you'd still have a zero chance. So you see why it's not a permutation now, Oconee?
I do.
Nobody would win. And South Carolina we'd be all right. We'd be making a lot of money. A lot of people say, well, they'd fix the roads. Well, not necessarily, because each county, y'all don't know this, but each county has a board. And that board decides where the money goes on the roads from the state and federal government. and your politicians. They each allocated some of that money. So, if we did have a lot of money, could your road still be not fixed? Yeah. Especially if you live on the west side of Anderson. No, I'm just kidding. Shut up, you. All right. Anybody got a question on that? That is a test question, whether it's a permutation or a combination. Let's see if we got it right. Let's change it back to combination. Is that combination? And that's combination. Okay. So, I want to see, okay, somebody, let's take this, equals this, and multiply by this. All right, write that number down. 292,201,338. That's your denominator. So it's 1 over that. Everybody with me? So let's go back to the handy dandy website. And let's look at the odds. Where is the odds? After class, I'm going to type in my dadgum number and see if I won. If y'all see me pull in with a brand new truck tomorrow, you know why. I'm looking. I might do that. We might go to, no, I still wouldn't go to the Mexican restaurant with y'all because somebody would call the department head.
We get to the dealership and we all take out a car.
Look at there. Oh my gosh, we figured it without looking at the odds. It's a miracle. Now I want you to do the Mega Million. So let's go back and pick up Mega Million. As soon as I go back to the... Okay, it takes a while. I keep forgetting we're on state-run website. Okay, where is the Mega Million? Oh, there it is. All right, how to play. Okay, there you go. Well, okay, 5 white ball numbers. No, it's not giving it to you. Here we go. They've changed the website. I'm sorry. Here we go. Write that down. So you've got 2 lottery questions in your notebook on how to do it. So select 5 different numbers from 1 to 70 and 1 number from 1 to 25. And I want to know the fraction if you bought 1 ticket. So it'd be 1 over a BA number. Right? Oh, forget it. 1 over 70, combination of 5 times 25, combination of 1. That should be your answer. So somebody give me that denominator when you get it. $302,000,000. 575,000. I need a second. Because sometimes y'all set me up to be incorrect, so I need somebody to verify that. Okay, I got a couple of y'all saying correct. Let's go back and check the odds on the website. 302,575. I'll just remember that if I can. 302,575. If I can get the mouse to work. 302,575. Okay. We're waiting. Okay, I guess we're not waiting. I hit it twice. Okay, there we go. Mega Million. Odds of winning. 302,575. It's a miracle. God, even if you match 5 of those numbers, you get what? I would be, satisfied with me, and I don't need to be greedy. I'd take 10,000. Yeah, I'd take 10,000 in a heartbeat. Wouldn't tell anybody. Just go out and blow 10,000. I'd blow 10,000.
Don't tell your ex-wife.
Oh Lord, no! My mom would be turning it in. There's no way in Hades I'd turn it in.
What about that poor guy that's got to give half of his money to his wife?
Well, he was not too bright. You have a month to. Don't you have a month to turn it
You
in?
have like 90 days.
Yeah, 90 days. He had 3 months. That thing would have been in a safety deposit box somewhere. I wouldn't have told anybody. And what do you do when you win the lottery? This is what guys do. You buy a $100,000 truck, okay, special order truck. You put $600,000 or $750,000 in the console cash, and you go to the local strip club with $100 bills in your pockets. And of course, what happens when you walk out at 3 o'clock in the morning? Somebody beats the crap out of you and steals your car, steals your truck with $750,000. That happened in Texas. The guy won the lottery in Texas. It was like $1 million, a long time ago. It's like $1 million. He won the lottery and did that exact same thing. Yeah, you got that right. Buddy, what you do is the first thing you do is you put the dadgum in a safety deposit box, and then you go hire an accountant/lawyer. That's what you do. Then, after you hire him or her, then you go down to Columbia with your lawyer and you get the ticket. Because you need to do whatever to not be, what? Known? You don't want to be known. Because all your family going to be coming around.
Out the woodwork.
Out the woodwork. Yeah.
But that's men though. Going to strip club.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go hire somebody. And then I'm going to buy a different color truck for every day of the week, and a new bulldozer, and a new track hoe, and then I'm going to buy at least 100, 200 steers of cows. That's what I'm going to do.
And how many acres are you going to buy?
I don't need to buy any acres. Lord, I'm so dadgum land poor right now. I don't need acres. I need to sell half of it. Anyway, that's that section. That's it. So 4.1, 4.2. So let's look at the test. So y'all ready for a test?
This was 5.5.
5.5, yeah. So let's look at the test. Let's pull up the handy dandy test. And believe you me, it's not that difficult. Let's see if I actually have it copied over. If not, this is a good time to do it.
Are the pre-tests that you have up there sort of like the test? Is that a good practice?
No, those are generic. Those come with the I don't even do those. Those the publisher does that. That's why I pull it up in class. Okay, edit. Let's go ahead and edit it. And I need to go in and check one thing. I need to remove 2020. Remove those. And I need to put in. Everything okay up there? Y'all haven't done gone out on us, have you?
No, our computer was going to restart.
Oh, don't do that. Got to give y'all an excuse to leave. Right? I ain't gonna say nothing. We ain't gonna pick one. And today is the 6/25. Dang old payday week. Dang old 6/25. Nobody's gonna talk to me at all today. What? I can't hear you whispering. You ought to put in for it. 23, let's see, June. Let's see, today's the 25th, so I'll give y'all till Sunday. Okay, and I'll cut off the homework right after class. Now let's look at the test. Number tries 3. Tell student loser is 48. Okay. I wish I could do that. They'd fire me if I did that. Let's go ahead and do the homework now. Just go ahead and shut that down. So change, and then we'll go look at the test. So 5.4.1, 4.2, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.5. That's it, right? And that's going to be due, we'll make that due, let's see, I want to give y'all at least, I'll give y'all, last time we meet is Thursday, right? So it's not going to do you any good to, so I'll just give y'all till Thursday to do the Thursday.
That's this Thursday.
Mm-hmm. We just went over the last section. Y'all should have done the other section.
Test is due this Sunday, right?
Yeah, test due this Sunday. Ma'am?
You said the test is due Sunday night?
Yes, Sunday night, midnight.
Okay.
And y'all should be up to date because, I mean, technically y'all should have maybe 1 or 2 sections of homework to do. 5.3 and 5.6. If you're on 5.1, then whose fault is that?
Right.
It's not my fault. Yes, the Russians, yeah, you're right. All right, so let's go look at it. Assignment manager, and let's pull up test, and let's look at it. And it's not going to be that bad. When does the homework terminate or to end? Oh, it's not supposed to bunch them together like this. It's not supposed to start them off like that either. If you miss a question, what do? You send several emails. I like that one. That's what the students do. And that's July 24th. What is the probability of an event that is impossible? Suppose that a probability is approximated to be 0 based on empirical results. This means that the event is impossible. What is the event? Well, yes, 0 is the probability. Everybody agree with that, right?
Yes.
But does that mean that the event is impossible? No, it should not. Because there is always a possibility of something happening if it's set up. There's always, so. Look at there, we got it right. And of course, that's not on the test, that's just while we're previewing it. Next. If the linear correlation between two variables is negative, what can be said about the slope of the regression line? C, it's negative. Because correlation and slope have a direct what? Relationship as far as the sign. Suppose 42 cars start a race. In how many ways can the top 3 cars finish the race? So somebody do that one for me, because I'm not going to pull up the calculator. 42. What is 3 finish? The top 3. Is that order?
Yeah.
Yes, that's trifecta. So that's going to be 42 permutation 3. What do you get?
68,880.
68,880.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody second that? And we feel good about ourselves. We don't have orange face and white neck. Too much makeup. If you have an incomplete test, you will get zeros. That will decrease your grade. Overall grade. Okay, this question, I want you to read it. I want you to write it down, especially if you suck at it. Read it. And I want you to ask yourself, after you read it, I want you to put down in your notes which one you think it is. Now, you don't have to write down the whole chart, but just which one do you think. It says, the definition of a probability model. So you got a 20% chance. Each one is 20%. A, B, C, D, E. Which one are real models? Well, let's look at the first one. Is that a real model? Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because all the probabilities is equal to what? 1. What's 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4? 4/4, which is 1. Remember the 2 tests? Each probability has to be between 0 and what? 1. And then you add up all the probabilities, they're supposed to equal what? 1. So what about B? Yes. C, well, you got to get a common denominator for 9 and 9. So that's going to be 2/18 plus 2/18 is 4/18 plus 14 is 18/18. C, yes or no? Yes. D. How'd you know that?
Negative.
It's got a negative. Negative is not between 0 and 1. Got to change that last one to 2/3, 2 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes or no? So A, B, and C is your answer. A, B, C. Is this a standardized test question? Yes.
Wait, how is C right?
C, we changed those two into 2/8 and 2/8. The 2/18, 2/18 is 4/18. And then 4 plus 14 is what? 18/18. You had to change these two to common denominator. With me?
Not really, but
Okay, in order to add fractions, you got to have a common what?
Yeah.
Denominator. So put this to, how many times will 9 go into 18? 2 times 1 is 2, so that's 2/18. 2/18. Add them all together. That's all right, that happens. It happens. What? You know. Okay, why didn't I get it right? Did I read the...
We need capital letters?
Really? Are you going to make me write capital letters?
Case sensitive?
Jerk. Russian wrote this question. Okay, I must be reading the question wrong. Because those are, A, B, and C is right.
Wait, scroll down. Are there more?
Oh, there's another one. Thank you. 1 plus 2, 2 plus 2, that's 11. Yes, so it's A, B, C, comma, F. Thank you, Ms. Blackman. Did y'all catch that, or Cody? Y'all paying attention?
Yes.
There we go. We feel good about ourselves. So we don't have to put expensive smokestacks on our pickup truck. Next, a golf ball is selected at random from a golf bag. Okay, this is your no, marble bag. This is your marble bag, not Marlboro. Okay, some of you that are in the Marlboro Club, not Marlboro, marble. 4 red balls, 4 black balls, and 11 brown balls. Why would you use a brown or a black golf ball? Okay, fine. Well, you might be in touch with your feminine side. You never know, but that would be pink. Find the probability of the following event. The golf ball is red. Ding, 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 ding. What does or mean? Go back to your notes. What is your or mean? Positive or additive or multiplicative? Additive. So, how many, say golf ball is red or black? So this red is going to be 4 and black, so that'd be 8 out of what? Is that the total? 8 out of 19? Okay, round to 3 decimal places. So if somebody give me 8 to 19, give me 3 decimal places, and please don't mess it up. Round to 3 decimal places. I'm sorry, what? And we feel good about ourselves, so we don't have to wear sunglasses in the gym.
How many of those do you have?
Oh my gosh, I've seen them. I just wish I could take a picture. I don't go to the gym anymore. I've made my own gym, but I don't go but they carry the water jugs too. Now that's the thing now. You carry the water jug. Yeah. Especially on this campus. Oh my God. That's the next big thing. Okay. So we got that right.
Did you check your answer?
Yeah, we got it right. Because I said we didn't have to wear sunglasses inside. That's usually self-esteem indicator. Oh, well, I'll do it again. There it is. You're welcome. Next. Will the following variables have positive correlation, negative correlation, or no correlation? Oh my God.
No correlation.
You know, that's a pretty bad question. Head circumference and IQ.
No correlation.
I don't think there would be any correlation. If there is, there needs to be something shown because we don't know.
If there is, it'd be something.
Yeah, I would say no correlation. What do y'all think? We got it right. So we don't have to sit at home and play video games till we're 30 years old. Next. And that would be because he wants me to fail and live in a ditch. Okay, determine whether the scatter diagram indicates that a linear relation may exist between the 2 variables. If the relation is linear, determine whether it indicates a positive or negative, blah, blah, blah. There is a positive correlation. What is this? Response and what? Okay, so they're not wanting you to. So which one says there is a linear relationship? Which one says that? There's I'd say lie in a straight line. Which one says lie? This one. See? Charlie, okay. Next. A positive. Why is it positive? Because the slope of the line is what? Positive. Is that it? Check answer. Told you it wasn't a hard test. I do have people fail this test. All right. Draw a scatter diagram comment on the type of relation that appears to exist between X and Y. Okay? I haven't seen this question before, so I don't know how this is going to go. Let's do it on the spreadsheet. I'm just going to do all the stuff and see if that's what they're asking for. So here we go. Here we go again. Insert. Okay, we're blinking. Now we're blinking off and on. Thank you. Appreciate it. Add trend line. There's the trend line. Let's go ahead and add display. Somebody give me R, square root of 0.8692, please. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all I care about. I don't know what they're going to ask. But somebody give me R. What is R? And write it down. 0.8692. What?
0.9323.
Okay, write down 0.9323. And write down that formula. Let me go ahead and get in here and make it bigger for y'all. There you go. Write that information down because they may ask that in the negative 0.6474x plus 6.7234. So if I ask you, what is the y going to be at 7, what would you do with 7? Plug and what? Plug and chug. Take that 7, plug it in for the x, do the math. Okay? If I ask what 0 was, well, 0 is going to be 6.7237 because it zeroes that out and leaves that, so 6.727 would be right in there. If I asked you what 2.5 was, what would you do with 2.5? Plug and what? Plug and chug, and it'll give you that y right there. So they may ask you to do that. I don't know what this question is going to ask you because I really haven't seen it before, so that's why I want you to write that down. Let's go back out. Okay, let's look at the drawing again. I'm looking at 4 that are apart and 2 that are together. So let's find out which one that is. Four are apart and 2 are together. It looks like this one. Okay, I can't make this go down, can I? Yeah. All right, somebody give me the formula negative what?
Negative 0.6474.
6474 plus what?
6.7237.
6.7237. I appreciate your interaction, Mr. Owens. I appreciate that. You're not leaning on a pickle. What?
It says 3 decimals.
Okay, I'll fix it. There is a linear, and it is what? Negative 724 and 645. And which one? Of course, I think it looked like that one right there, didn't it? It's not these two. Why? Those 2 are positive. If you put those in, just don't tell anybody, okay? There's your answer right there. That should be it. Uh-oh, we missed one. What did I miss?
The first part of B.
It should be 647.
Yeah.
647. I thought I typed in the right thing. I suck. There we go. We feel good about ourselves again. So we don't have to be the primary reason for domestic violence. Next. Well, it's true. Domestic violence. You can attribute domestic violence to low self-esteem. Think about it. Who always is the starter of domestic violence? The male or the female? Most of the time. The male. He's the one that's got the sorriest problems. Okay. And then you got the crazy females. I ain't gonna say the word, but does no, I do not. But I thought that question said you did. Yeah, whatever. Fill in the blank. In probability, a blank is a process that can be repeated in which the results are what? Uncertain. What is that? Gosh, I knew y'all were going to do that. As soon as I went down, I knew y'all were going to do that. There we go. Is that good? Okay. Y'all seen that commercial?
It's it.
Where the guy's at the psychiatrist and he's telling his problems and direct TV.
Oh, yes.
Classic narcissism. What? Improbability. Which one is it?
Experiment.
I would say experiment, because experiment, you don't know what the outcome is on experiment. Look there, we got that right. We feel good about ourselves. What does that mean? We don't have to look at the mirror every time we pass a mirror. 100% people like that. They have to look in the mirror while they're talking to you. While you're talking to them, they're looking in the mirror. They're going to lead to domestic problems. If you look at your overall grade one day and it is decreased, Hubert and Rushta have conspired against you. And they probably will tell you how to vote. You suspect a six-sided die to be loaded and conduct a probability experiment by rolling the die 400 times. The outcome of the experiment is listed in the following data. Do you think the die is loaded? Okay, that's not rhetorical. I'm asking y'all to interact with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
B.
Because they should all fall around the 41, 42, 39, and 121 and 108. Something's wrong. Something is SUMPIN. Something. Which one is it? B?
C.
C.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, C. What does it say? Okay, two of the values have a higher probability. And technically you could say B also, because are the outcomes the same? No, they're not all the same. But I guess that's splitting hairs there. Make sure you pick the two. Two are higher. Next. And that's the number 2 most missed question of the bonus questions. Because people should not procreate. In a certain lottery, an urn contains balls numbered from 1 to 34. From the urn, 6 balls are chosen randomly without replacement. For a $1 bet, there's your key word. That means you got to put it 1 over. A player chooses one set of 6 numbers to win. All 6 numbers must match. The order in which the ball does not what? Matter. There's your key word there. Order does not matter. So is this a permutation or a combination? It's a combination. So do it. 1 over blah, blah, blah. And it says round to the nearest hundredth. It says use scientific notation if needed. My mama's got a big blackberry bush outside of her house, and she picks the blackberries, and now we've got blackberry jelly, blackberry cobbler, and she's also got a fig bush, and I hate figs.
I don't like blackberries.
You're kidding.
I like the seeds because they.
Yeah.
That's
They
what,
get your teeth and look like you had brushed your teeth in a month.
I need blackberry wine.
Well, she never stays sober anyway, so I got to take her to AA every week.
I'm gonna tell
Huh?
I'm gonna tell her.
Well, I tell people that. She'll walk up. How you doing, Sarah? I said, she's sober today. They look at me.
Did you say your thoughts on that story?
People need a sense of humor, you know?
Uh-huh.
We've lost, we're the United States of winged on a pickle.
That's your mom, right?
Which,
Sarah?
Sarah,
Sarah's
yeah.
your mom.
With an H, yeah. She's from Belton. I'm sorry, for those of you that's not from Belton, it's Belton. I'm from Belton, South Carolina. I love the ones that from Honeyapad. Where? Honeyapad. I'm from Honeyapad.
That was long cut.
And then Powdersville. I'm from Powdersville.
My grandfather.
Yeah, B-E-L-O-N. Belton.
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 Not.
From Belton. Yeah, all my mama's people from Belton.
No.
Belton. So what is that? Somebody give me the three numbers. How many people, how many of y'all in Oconee from Westminster?
I live there currently. I'm not from there.
People call it Westminster like a preacher. Westminster, and it's not Westminster. It's just like over there in England, Westminster. It doesn't have a syllable in there. But you try to tell somebody that from that in Oconee, try to tell them that. Okay, settle down, Oconee.
I'm from Powdersville.
Powdersville. Ain't it funny how people pronounce it when they're not from that area?
I've never heard anyone say that, so I don't know if I can back up your claim.
Okay, well I have. I've had people really go on the extreme. It really with Belton and people from Ivor, they'll say they're from Ivor, but people that are not from Ivor, they'll say Ivor. I'm from Ivor. Make sure they don't want to sound dumb and racist, I guess. I don't know. Clemson. That's why the ESP they don't put a P in Clemson. Now people are saying Clemson to themselves. Okay, what'd you get? Okay. 3 digits, people, is all I need, or hundredths. I only need 2 digits, 2 decimal places. I didn't think the question was that hard.
0.176.
That's kind of high. I'll try it. Since nobody else is going to talk to me. Miss Blackman is a loser and should quit school. You should quit. I don't know why you're self-improvement. I don't know why you're even into that.
So it's,
I'm still waiting for somebody to give me the correct answer.
is it 34 combination 6? Is that what we're doing?
Yep, and put a 1 over it. You'd be surprised on how many people can't read their calculator because it's going to give it to you in scientific notation, and you can't read it.
Aren't you supposed to use, you're supposed to use scientific notation?
Well, it says 3 digits. Well, you didn't put the 1 over
It
it.
says use scientific
You
notation.
got to put the 1 over it. 1 divided by, settle down, Oconee. Inverse answer.
Like 7.4.
Okay, that's 0.0, so it's 0.00. Now it says round. We better do 7.44. 7.44. Shift 8. 10. Shift up. And -7. There you go. Check answer. And we feel good about ourselves, so we don't have to look at our vehicle 5 times before we go into a building. Huh? Yeah, times 10 to the whatever power. Question on that one. What should a student do if something happens and they're out of class for a while? Wait until after grade turn in and then turn into a DA. If you take several forms of it, it takes the highest grade. Somebody in this class will ask me that question at the end of the semester. Although covered in the handouts, what is the best way to communicate? I should put email in there too, because you can email my phone too. And that one is that's the first most missed question. That's the number one most missed question of Hubert's bonus question.
Have you always told everybody, like?
Yeah. I always go through them, yeah. And we're talking about fall semester, when all the people from high school are coming in.
But
Yeah.
still.
They don't read. The student does not complete a homework assignment. What will be recorded for that assignment? Oh, I didn't know.
Perfect.
Suppose that events E and F are independent. What did we say independent was? That means that you are replacing the marble. Remember? That you are replacing whatever. Okay? 0.6 are independent. P of E is 0.6 and P of F is 0.8. What is the probability of E blank F? What is that word? What does AN mean? This is the number one most missed question on the math. Do you know why it's number one most missed? Because people sit there and stare at it. They read it 2 or 3 times, they sit there and stare at it, but what do they forget? That the word and means what? Nope. Multiply. So what do you get when you multiply 60 cent times 80 cent? 0.48 or 0.048? I can't remember. Is it 0.48? So your answer is 0.48. So you got a 50% chance of picking E and F. Check answer. And you feel good about yourself. True or false? In a probability model, the sum of the probabilities of all outcomes must equal 1. True. A golf ball is selected from a random golf ball bag. If the golf ball bag contains 9 A balls, oh really? This is a stupid question. 5 type B balls and 7 type C balls, find the probability that the golf ball is not a type A. Complement. First of all, what is the N? What's your denominator? 9 plus 5 is 14. 21. Okay, so what is the probability of an A ball?
9 out of 21.
So what would the complement of 9 out of 21 be? 12 out of 21. Somebody give me 3 decimal places. 0.571. Everybody get that? That's the complement. You got to read this right here. Not a type A ball. Not a type A ball means the complement of A ball. We went over that. 2 or 3 problems we went over the complement. Next. Did we get that right? Of course we did. Next. When is the last day of this semester? I'm offended. Because you were making sacrilegious jokes about the Bible. That was one offended. I don't believe Judgment Day. I believe it may be in the Bible, but I don't think it is. But I also believe that Judgment Day is the name of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
They're making like another Terminator or something. Somebody at work told me that.
Yeah. They're also making, Rambo.
Yeah,
That one. And there's also another one that's coming out. And I read about it yesterday. And I can't remember what it was about. It's another. Yeah, it's going. He's back at his ranch. His daddy's ranch. Okay, everybody good? All right, so what am I expecting Thursday?
Homework done.
Homework questions. That's what I'm expecting. If we don't have homework questions, then guess what we're going to do?
Next chapter.
Go to the next unit. And y'all know y'all don't want that. Because I could not stand when the teacher did that. You'd have your test and you had like 30 minutes left in class. Okay, let's go over new material.
We did new material yesterday before our test.
Oh my gosh, in what class?
Biology.